All right, a fine afternoon to everyone who is listening to this broadcast. And this is going to be a bumper, super discussion this evening in Lagos, in Abuja, all across the major cities in the country. You're on to the Big Hat Fact. And I'm going to be joined by, I'll tell you about him shortly, but you've been hearing this voice note for several months now. I remember when Sheriff asked me about him, and I said, that's my guy. So listen to this, and then I will tell you about this fine gentleman.
This is The Voice Note on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
It was why we sang and danced in the night, why we lit fires that burned through the night, why we chose a flag colored in freedom, for now we would be kings in this our kingdom. But our first head of state was Oboh, and the next, though a soldier, also Oboh. Then Angas ruled, followed by Hausa, and then came the turn of Yoruba. Then Hausa came back for a term cut short, when power was taken by an Hausa gunshot. Then Gwari claimed his turn to rule, but a mandate stolen was his downfall. Then Kanuri came, and it's quite probable that he'll still be ruling if not for that apple. Then Yoruba returned, not once, but twice. Then Hausa returned, but died in peace. Then they left us a while to worry and wonder. When it was over, Ijo had power, and after him came that titanic shift. And now we can see that Hausa is back, leaving me with this troublesome thought: where in all this is my own president? For where I was born is not where I'm from, and where I'm from is not my home. So when the tribes gather, I often wonder, who will I fight when you're both my brothers? Nobody asked when we were children, before we play, are you a Muslim? We shared a space that nobody claimed, but now you ask me to choose a side. When we were students, nobody asked if North and South could share a desk, if East and West could study together, but now you tell me that I'm a stranger. Stranger, yes, to these ways of thinking that tribe is everything. The Niger and Benue, they meet in my hand. I'm not an indigent, but this is my land. And this is my language, I speak nothing else. My home is here, I know nothing else. My tribe is my nation, I am nothing else, and this is my country. I have nowhere else. And so, though people are quick to assure me, to tell me this country I live in is free, deep in my heart, I know that freedom, my freedom, is yet to come, when no one will question my origin, when no one will call me a non-indigent, when no one will kill me because of my faith, when no one will cheat me because of my state, when my state will be wherever I live and will change whenever I choose to move, the day I find not a Nigerian president, but that a Nigerian is finally president. And so, while the flag of ethnicity still flutters over this land of two shining rivers, and the tribes take their turn to misgovern my country, I look to the future, for I'm not yet free.
All right, and so you have him, Dike Chukwumerije. He's a poet with a passion for storytelling, nation building. He is the author of 8 books, including Revolution Has No Tribe. He's producer of Made in Nigeria, which I joke with him is Nigeria's Broadway. I should go for one of the Made in Nigeria shows. A spoken word theater production that has toured 9 states, including Lagos, Abuja, Maiduguri, and Enugu. He's based in Abuja, where he runs a production company, Simply Poetry, and also manages the Abuja Literary Society. Thank you very much, Dike Chukwumerije, for joining us on the Big Hat Fact.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Excellent, excellent. We're streaming this live, and so if you're watching on Facebook as well as on YouTube, you can see Dike live in our wonderful studios, and we are going to have a big discussion. Interestingly, Dike and I come a long, long way from the days in Festac, attended the same primary school and seatmates, and only God can imagine after all these years we could have the opportunity to meet and talk about nation building in this way. In fact, we're in a primary school group where we talk about many, many things. But Dike, great again to have you and to talk about reflections on Nigeria's Diamond Independence Anniversary. Of course, happy Independence Anniversary to everyone who's listening. But talk to us about, this has been your passion for several years. You make it so easy. I can't remember anyone, say for Fela Nicola Bokuti, who could help us understand all of this in a nutshell. Very easy to the ears, and for us to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's my passion. I love my country, and I've spent a long time brooding and thinking and meditating over my motherland and trying to understand the nation. I think many people make the mistake of equating Nigeria with governments and with politicians, but Nigeria is also the mountains and the hills and the lakes and the rivers and the fisherman and the carpenter, and the Form 1 students jumping Mulwe for the first time on his way home on the general and the exit day. Nigeria is all of this. And I spent a really long time just meditating on as many aspects of the nation as I can. And I'm also someone that believes that the more you understand something, the simpler you express it. That simplicity is one of the manifestations of understanding. And I feel like my understanding of Nigeria has deepened. The way I express myself over her has also become simpler and simpler as time has gone on. So that's sort of what I would say.
I must envy and marvel at the way you handle all of these discussions. The most difficult and the most controversial of the topics, oftentimes, you're able to wield and find a way and meander through it in ways that I have never, ever seen or imagined in understanding and, arriving at some sort of positive outlook to what we have as a nation. Well, let's begin with ethnicity.
Yeah.
This is huge. I mean, yes.
I mean, one of the reasons why I'm able to speak on these issues the way I do is that I am a Nigerian. It's not an intellectual thing. I'm not trying to make a point. It's not a political statement. It's a reflection, an accurate reflection of my sociocultural trajectory. I'm an Igbo man, who is from Abia State in terms of states of origin. But I was born in Lagos, in Mushin. I grew up in Lagos. I lived in Festac. Went to primary school in Festac, went to secondary school on the island. I've never lived in my state of origin, not once. I've never lived in the East, so to speak. I mean, I did a year of law school in Enugu. That's about it. Even though I go back every Christmas like any other Igbo person. And now I live in Abuja. I have friends from all over. My closest friend is from Kaduna State, and things like that. So I'm a Nigerian. My memories, Lagos is littered with memories of my life. When I think of home, Lagos features prominently, Abuja features prominently, Jos, Kaduna, Maiduguri, Enugu, all over. So when I speak on these issues, I take Nigeria's side. I always tell people that it's like a debating society. Ijaw people have people that talk passionately for Ijaw people. Hausa would have people talking passionately for Hausas. Fulanis would have, Igbos would have, Yorubas. Who speaks for Nigeria? Not out of an intellectual obligation, but who speaks for Nigeria out of a genuine, listen, I mean, when I look within me, what I see is a Nigerian ethos, So I find it very easy because that is what I have within me. So I only speak from my heart into these issues. Now, ethnicity, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a neutral culture is a beautiful thing because it's like it's diversity. Right. It's what makes the world beautiful. It's what creates that sort of kaleidoscope of colors. It's culture that does that. So nationalism is not about eliminating culture. It's not about making us all culturally neutral. No, I am proud of
Igbo culture. It inspires me when I write my poetry. You know, I love the food. I love the music. I grew up going to the village every year. You know, playing with the masquerades, you know, drinking palm wine, playing with my cousins. You know, I love all these things. They're a huge part of who I am. But it is not the only thing about me. I'm not. There are also other influences to me that make me up. You know, and I am honest with the fact that I am multicultural within me. So I'm honest with the multicultural that exists within me. So I tell people that there's nothing wrong with being proud of, you know, you're a person or an Hausa person or a Fulani person. Nationalism is about, will you allow yourself to discriminate against somebody else on the basis of their ethnicity? Do you understand? As simple as that. I will sing my Igbo music, I'll dance to my Igbo songs. End of year, I'll go home. You know, but if there is a scholarship exam and 20 boys write it, I will not take that scholarship away from the person that merits it and give it to somebody else just because that person is Igbo like me. No matter how proud of my culture I am, it will never motivate me to discriminate against somebody else, to kill somebody else, to murder somebody else. You know, it can never motivate me to do that. And that's what nationalism is about. Yes, we love our culture, but then we also understand that we share a basic humanity. And that certain values must help. Culture, no culture.
Something that was also a very big discussion, especially now while we mull over our identity as Nigerians. Who is a Nigerian? You talk about beyond state of origin, and you've been everywhere in the country and sort of have ties and relationship with people all across the country, respective of tribe, religion, or ethnicity, which is the perfect, how they say, the all-Nigerian boy, like the all-American boy or American dream eventually. What would you say in terms of leadership? Because I know the Made in Nigeria series, I've been to at least one of them, and there's a lot of material, and that also forms the narrative and the story of the country you tell often. How we began in the 60s after independence with so much promise, with leadership that looked promising, and here we are 60 years later, and everyone points to Abuja as the reason for our problems, even when the problem many times may just be with their next door neighbor who simply refuse to like their faces. But Abuja is the reason for Nigeria's problem. It doesn't matter whether it's Buhari there today or Jonathan there yesterday, but leadership is a major problem. Well, what are your thoughts, Dike?
I mean, I agree completely with you. And to sort of juxtapose this question you just asked me with the last one, ethnicity, one of the major problems is that people often blame our ethnic diversity for failures of governance. So they blame their poverty, they blame their issues on maybe they will say it's the Fulani person or it's the Igbo person, or it's because the Fulani person is in power, or it's because Igbo people are doing this, or Igbo people have taken all the jobs, or Yoruba people are doing this. And so they blame things that are actually the outcome of a general failure of governance. They blame it on ethnic diversity, which is one of the issues why so many of our youths have, a lot of energy goes towards fighting ethnic battles instead of us coming together to face the governance issue. So a lot of youthful energy is directed. And then the oppressed, the universally oppressed is fragmented on lines of ethnicity. And when we are all suffering from unemployment, from poverty, from lack of water, from lack of light, our mothers, our sisters are dying in childbirth. Our children are dying of preventable diseases like malaria, not reaching the age of 5. All of us universally suffer these conditions. These headsmen that are attacking people over the country, they're attacking people in Zamfara, attacking people in Benue, attacking people in Enugu, attacking people in Taraba. And yet all these victims can come together to address the common problem because they see through the lens of tribe and religion. So I agree completely that Nigeria's problem, we are where we are because of a low level of leadership, of leadership on the governance aspect. I would like to tell people, let's take the British and what they did while they were ruling Nigeria. They built railways, they built roads. You know, in terms of governance, they they brought us into the modern era in terms of governance, you know. But they were racist. They believed that they were better than us. The fact that they were racist did not stop them from developing the country in terms of hardware. You know, so the fact that you are tribalistic, or that you are a Muslim, or that you believe that it doesn't stop you from building roads, from building railways, from constructing a public water system that works and takes water into people's houses, sanitation systems so that people are not pooing and peeing in gutters.
Right.
You know, this is squarely a question of leadership.
Right.
And we are a federal system. Leadership does not just exist on the federal level.
Right.
It exists at the state level. It exists at the local government level. And at these lower levels, it is even more imperative because nobody lives in the federal system. Everybody lives in a local government.
Very true.
You know, so if you have functional local governments, if you have functional state governments, and there is a lot of power at these levels of government, but there is not enough pressure at these levels of government for people to really, for these governments to really function.
Okay. We'll fix that, some connection problems there with Dike. But this is an engaging discussion, I believe everyone is listening to now on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Celebrated poet Dike Chukwumerije has this wonderful show, Made in Nigeria, which goes all around the country, telling the Nigerian story in simple terms. And it's what we're doing today, trying to unwrap this complex contraption people have called Nigeria. Which every time you think about it, a British journalist says, it's like we dance on the edge here and dance on the edge there. But somehow we manage to keep going back to the center. The center will hold, not like Chino Achebe's things fall apart. Dike, are you still there?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, can you hear me? Sorry, I think my camera flipped.
Yeah, the camera flipped, huh?
Now,
okay, and here it's back. We can see you now. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
Yeah. So big question. So there's another big question we're looking at. I'm a journalist, so I'm going for all the trouble areas before we get to the other areas. A couple of days back, we talked about the International Youth Day, and over again, I found myself speaking with youth. This morning, I spoke with a number of youths also too on what it was. They all sort of agree individually. Fantastic individuals in what they're doing, whether it's in the economy, whether it's in the IT or SMEs. We have fantastic stories. But when it comes to scaling, they all seem to suggest that they need space in political leadership for them to really make the change they want to. But that's where the problem happens. Everyone is going to his own tent to make things happen in terms of the politics. And there doesn't seem to be any consensus. I know you're a visionary in how you think youth can place themselves in politics. What are your thoughts in terms of youth leadership in this country?
I think there is no correlation, so to speak. Sorry, I'm going to be moving, Aghogho.
Yeah, please do.
If you don't mind.
It's a moving
There
shot.
There's no correlation. There's no correlation between age and sort of the ability to govern. That's what I truly believe. However, having said that, you generally assume that leadership should be representative of the country. We're a young country, and we really shouldn't be governed by the minority in terms of the demographics. So our leaders should look like us. And in that regard, I really believe that we need younger representation as Nigerians. We need young people to get involved. And it's not going to happen because it should. It's not going to happen because it ought to. It's only going to happen if we sort of make that effort to get involved.
Right.
I think young people should get out there and push it. But honestly, I'll go. From what I've seen, I don't know whether culture is cultural. So the fact that somebody is young does not mean that the person will not chop money. That's just what I want to say.
That's realistically speaking. Yeah. and it leaders. But I do get the perception that leadership in the country must represent the demographics in the way it's shaped. But let's take a quick break, DK, so that when we come back, we can talk about images, because I really want to know what your image and reflection on Nigeria is. In university, as a planner, we're taught about images of a city, and we're taught to imagine what a city would be like. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about right after this break on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Don't go anywhere. Go on Facebook, go on Twitter. I'm going to link up with everyone on social media as we come, and you can converse and ask questions and throw comments on these reflections on Nigeria at our Diamond Independence Anniversary, just hours away from the 1st of October. I'm Aghogho Oboh. We'll be right back.
Hard Facts will be right back.
Right, welcome back. And still with us, Dike Chukwumerije, poet, celebrated author, and my very good friend from childhood. And great to reconnect on this Independence Day anniversary. You can send us messages on WhatsApp 0809-597-5805. So for the next 15 minutes or thereabout, I will at some point open the phone lines so that you can connect with Dike, who's now behind his shelf of books, who's in front of a book. So many books. Now we know the reason. Those of you be asking of the voice note, you can catch Dike. But Dike, your Twitter handle again, so that people who can connect with you on Twitter.
Simply Poetry NG.
Simply Poetry NG. Excellent. So,
NG.
yeah, Simply, and he's got fantastic works done. Also, on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, you can send us messages. You got comments or questions. We can talk about big discussions on the eve of Nigeria's independence anniversary. So, Dike, also remember that you're watching this on Facebook as well as on YouTube. We're live streaming this too. So, Dike, I was talking about the images of a city growing up. You talk about Festac. We had this picture of what we thought a city should look like, what a country should be like. You've gone further in being able to paint a picture in words. Millions of listeners are wondering what is the easiest way to paint a country like Nigeria. Some say it's complex. Many times they start and don't know where to end the narrative in. But I'm sure you have a picture that we all can look at and say, this is the picture of Nigeria going forward. We expect to see, live, and work with.
Yeah. First of all, I always tell people that there's a patriotism that precedes a nation. There's a patriotism that comes after a nation, but there's also a patriotism that precedes a nation. The patriotism you need to build the nation. At the beginning of this interview, I said something that we often equate Nigeria with politicians. So the hate, or I'm going to say the hate, the discontent people feel for politicians, they often direct at Nigeria. So Nigeria is a useless country. What did Nigeria ever do to you? Nigeria is a nation. Nigeria is a concept. Nigeria is an idea. Nigeria is a seed that needs to be watered. Nigeria is like a child that is starving in a country. And instead of you to direct your anger at the abusers of that child, you're directing your anger at the child and saying the child is useless, the child is hopeless. From birth, the child had no hope. Do you understand? A child is always the product of parenting. There is no child that is born without hope. There's no child that is born without a dream or a future. There is no nation that is born without a future. Every nation is artificial. There is no nation that descended from heaven. Every nation was constructed, was dreamt and built by someone. Somebody took care to build that nation. If you see a well-brought-up child, it's because somebody took time, whether the biological parents or somebody else took time to groom that child. So going forward, we need to realize that this is our homeland. Whether you come from the southwestern part of it or the southeastern part of it or the northeastern part of it, it is our homeland. Even if this country were to break up into different countries tomorrow, the geographical space will still be the same. The person that is your neighbor today will still be your neighbor tomorrow. And you will still have to build cordial relationships with that person for the region to flourish. We cannot escape each other. This is we are here. It is our destiny. And we have to face it, tackle it squarely. So going forward, I envision a Nigeria, where my child can get up and hitchhike safely from Abuja to Port Harcourt, where he or she can explore the creeks of the Niger Delta, can follow in the footsteps of someone like Nnamdi Azikiwe that took a ship. When he was going to Lagos from Onitsha, he boarded a ship and sailed to Lagos. These are things we can't do today. In the early days, when they first set up the Katsina Teachers Training College, one of the first schools they set up in the north, it had students from everywhere, from Sokoto, from Yola, There were students from Yola that trekked all the way to Katsina. There was no fear of Boko Haram. Even when we were in school, Aghogho,
Yeah.
when we were in primary school.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
I remember that I went for Air Force JOS interview from Lagos. I went to JOS for interview.
Very true.
And my dad didn't know anybody in JOS. And he simply asked the man that helped us at the gate then.
Right.
And the man said, that he was from JOS and he was familiar with JOS. And my dad simply handed me over to this guy who took me to JOS. And this was 1989. It's not like some other century or something like that. I look forward to a Nigeria like that, where there is a pride in being Nigerian. The pride we felt when Rashidi Yakini, when he blasted that ball into the net and ran into the goalpost and started shaking how all Nigerians, regardless of tribe or religion, stood up with that man. Proud that we had registered our presence as the largest black nation on the stage of the World Cup. This is how I hope that one day Nigeria will register its presence on every stage, on the stage of scientific discovery, on the stage of human development, on the stage of, maternal mortality, that will begin to register our presence because we have the potential. We simply need to stop quarreling with each other for a generation and build the country. After a generation, we can resume our quarrels. Because the way rich people quarrel is not the way poor people quarrel.
Very true.
The way we quarrel in our poverty and underdevelopment is different. It's very destructive. When we add a bit of prosperity, a bit of middle class, a bit of power and electricity, a bit of jobs, when everybody has a house they can go back to and a car that they are driving, the way they quarrel will be very different. So it's very important that we suspend these inter-ethnic quarrels for a generation and focus on building this country.
Absolutely.
Give us 40 years of governance so that a child that is born at the beginning of that era grows up in an era where there's nothing like chua. There's nothing like shunting. If you merit it, you get it. By the time that child is 20, that will be his or her culture. It is not written in our DNA that we must be like this. It is socialization. We have been socialized into a system. That is why when a Nigerian lands at Heathrow Airport, he would immediately join the queue, whether he's a chief or he's a distinguished or whatever. He knows to join the queue.
So true.
Because it's about acculturization. But when they land in Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport or Murtala Mohammed Airport, they suddenly start saying, "Do you know who I am?" Why don't you say, "Do you know who I am" in New York or in London? Why don't you use that expression there? Are you not the same person? It's about context. It's about culture. It's about systems. It's about institutions. And if we build these things, we'll get a different response from Nigerians. I don't know why my video has gone off.
Right. So what have we, maybe, okay, it's back now. It's back. So we have the true reflection of Nigeria at 60. So Dike, let's take in some calls. I see the lines buzzing. People want to talk, and let's hear what they have to say. 0700 993 993 993. Call us and tell us what you think. Reflections of Nigeria at 60. We're speaking with celebrated poet Dike Chukwumerije, who's got a passion for storytelling of Nigeria's building, and he's done it for a number of years, and he does it in such a great way that I've never seen anyone else do. Let's talk. While the calls are being populated, I can get onto WhatsApp, so the call handler can help me go through those calls quickly. Let me see. This is Benedict from Meron. Hi, Dike. How can I get that your poetry? You would have to get into his head. I
haven't written it. I haven't published it in a book yet. But it's on YouTube.
Great, it's on YouTube. Because honestly, you will have to. It's his entire bloodstream that goes from head to toe. I wish you were my president, says Ifeanyi. Interestingly, there's a group called Dike for President. Some group on Facebook I found some time back. I was laughing about it.
I don't even know if I'll be.
Okay, Nigeria.
I don't know if I'll make
Nigeria at 60. I'm going to come to that at some point. I know you had this. There was this Nigeria Economic Summit group, and you got everyone standing and clapping. Just a few people who knew that you were speaking truth to power just sat down stubbornly and wouldn't stand up because that was some moment. I mean, that video went viral. We'll talk about that. But I can get to the calls very quickly, and let's see who we have. Hello and good evening.
Yeah, hello. Good evening, Chicago.
Please, what's your name?
Yeah, my name is Mohammed from Ikeja.
All right, Mohammed, very quickly. Let's do this in 1 minute so that others can also contribute. So go ahead, Mohammed.
Okay. The conversation is very, very nice. And that guy, is he not the one that playing that audio that you play? He's the one that recorded, correct?
Yeah, he's the one.
Very nice. Honestly, anytime when I hear this, I just feel so happy. I'm so proud to Nigeria, be a Nigerian. Honestly, we need people like this. We don't want these ethnic champions and these guys that causing problem around the country. We don't want this kind of people. Like the other, like you say that there's in this one, what do you call it, the Facebook that asking him to be a president. Honestly, I want him to be a president as well. He should contest by 2023. After all, we are shifting the presidents to the south, so maybe gradually to the southeast. We trust. I trust him. This guy will do well. I'm telling you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Let's hear in some more calls. Hello and good evening. Sorry about that. Hello and good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Excellent.
Nelson.
What's your name, please,
Hello.
and where you calling from?
Nelson from Ejibu.
All right, Nelson, do this quickly.
Yes, Nigeria at 60. What a country. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Chief Oboh, Nigeria can never be good. Simple.
All right, Nelson, Nigeria can never be good. But Nigeria and my country, and we must do better for is the popular jingle on Radio Nigeria, a member for many years. Let's speak with Austin. Hello, Austin.
Yeah, Aghogho, how you doing?
Excellent. So go ahead quickly, Austin.
I just enjoyed, on the road things, I kept enjoying that poetry, Dike had. My thought process is it possible for you to put it on a ringtone? So a lot of people have it and just be enjoying it, and it made me to be proud to be a Nigerian. I felt proud to be a Nigerian. If you can just be on the ringtone, so we can just have it and be playing it and help us to think better and act better.
All right, thank you very much. He's listening, and I'm sure he'll think about that. Make us to think better and act better, Austin says. Hello and good evening.
Good evening.
Excellent. Please, your name and where you're calling from.
James from Ejibu.
All right, James, go ahead.
After listening to you, Chukwumerije has spoken his mind. Let us speak our mind. Then, as you said, during that 1960, those people that fought for independence, the first leaders, they were very young. Very, very young. It's a matter of wiping these people out. They are already retired, and they still come again. So, for the one you said, you said, a center can hold. It cannot hold in this system. So, China Tebe said it all. The center cannot hold because of this system. Why people are saying that because of this tribe that they are ruling? When you see Yoruba man rule, no wahala. You see Igbo man rule, no wahala. You see Fulani rule. Fulani started moving around the whole country, terrorizing people. What will you expect from people to say? So we need to speak in one voice. It's a teamwork. We must speak in one voice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Speak with one voice. All right. Thank you very much. Hello and good evening. Sorry, kindly turn down your device. Is it off now?
Hello?
Good. Hello and good evening.
Good evening. This is Victor from Ikotun.
All right, Victor. Let's make this quick.
Yeah. My own contribution about concerning Nigeria at 60 is that Nigeria is a very great nation, and I'm proud to be a Nigerian first. And then whosoever say that Nigeria cannot work is simply not right, because we are blessed immensely, both human and natural resources. Many people like Chukwumerije, thousands of them are still here in Nigeria. Just what we have to do is work together as a team and then keep on having the positive mindset. Because whatever is not made right now can actually be made right later on. It's all about the concept towards it. So we shouldn't lose faith. This is our country. We have no place else that we can go, and then we call them, even if we like go to Britain, you are not actually a Britain. So we are Nigerians. We'll be the ones to drive this country to that desired point.
All right.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And this will be the last call, so Dike can respond to the ones he wants to respond to. Hello and good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sandy by name.
Sandy, you say?
Sandy.
Okay, you're quite low. If you can speak up so that we can hear you, but go ahead.
Standing.
All right, Sandy, go ahead.
Yeah, I like that gentleman in the studio. He inspired me a lot. There is something about his voice that I picked. It's like he doesn't want to hear about indigenous, whatever, Let this country, let the youth team up. Everybody should come together. Let's remove this indigenous, whatever they call it, I don't know. All we want to know is I'm a Nigerian. Whether I come from wherever, I don't know, but let's look at America. Look at all these countries. You can't hear, I'm from Bielsa, I'm from here. This thing is uniting us.
Thank you very much for your comments. Most grateful, and for everyone who's called in. So, Dike, so many. I got calls, I've got messages here, and how time flies when you're having a great discussion. But it's what it is. You just would wrap up your thoughts.
Let me wrap up by saying that the blood that flows through the veins of a Christian is red, same as the blood that flows through the veins of a Muslim. When a woman in Zamfara cries over the loss of a son or a daughter to criminal bandits, her pain is as deep and bottomless as a woman crying in Owani or in Enugu somewhere over the loss of a son or a daughter to armed bandits. When a child in Maiduguri is hungry and begins to cry, his tears are salty, same as the tears of a child in Morocco, somewhere in Lagos, crying out of hunger. When a young lady graduates from school in Uyo with a 2-1 in first class, can't find a job, her unemployment is as frustrating as that of a young graduate in Kano. Graduated out of school, no job for years. When we sit in darkness because there's no power and we're fighting mosquitoes and our children are reading by kerosene lamps and lanterns, it's the same experience whether you're in Makurdi or you're in Ibadan. When your wife goes into labor and you take her to hospital and you have to pray to God that she comes out of the delivery room alive. There are no complications, but that NEPA doesn't take light in the middle of the whole operation, that all the drugs and medicines are there. It's the same anxiety that we feel regardless of our tribe or ethnicity or religion. And the solution to these problems that make our lives so unbearable in Nigeria is a governance thing. It is not an ethnic thing. It is not a religious thing. It's a governance thing. That when you go to the polling booth, you need to vote for a better life for yourself and your children. It's as simple as that. You need to vote for a future of dignity for your grandchildren, that when they present the green, white, green passport at any border, and they'll be treated with dignity and respect. This is what you vote for. You don't vote for so that your ethnic group or your religion can have a representative in government. How does that put food on your table? How does that say
Oh dear. Okay,
you're lying bleeding on the asphalt? There are no ambulances to save your life. Hospital to rush you to. How does voting for a Christian or a Muslim or a Yoruba or a Fulani person in power, how does that save your life on that hot afternoon when you're lying bleeding from an accident on Lagos Ibadan Road? These are the things that we must consider that Nigeria, apart from that, Nigeria, whether we like it or not, we have a position that many other countries, many other African countries would love to have. The largest black nation in the world. That responsibility falls on our shoulders. If Nigeria stands up, Africa stands up, the black man and woman stands up.
Right.
And this is important in a world where it is taken for granted that to be black, that to be African, is to be inferior. It is, I feel challenged personally to debunk that thing, to show that Africans can rise above ethnicity, to build functional nations. The greatest need in the world today is for a functional, efficient, black African state to rise up.
And
all these things we got, that was simply to raise our expectations, to give us something to aim at.
And indeed,
it can be you,
right?
But for it to be us, we have to rise above tribalism. It's as simple as the cancer of modern Nigeria.
The cancer of modern Nigeria. We have to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Dike Chukwumerije, poet, celebrated author. Always a pleasure speaking.
We have to
you.
excise the plantation. Last one.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. I do hope we get opportunity to hang out one day. We get to Festac and then try to relive all those memories again. Thank you very much, DK. All right. So that's it on Hat Facts today. We're going to take a quick break. We got the news coming up, and then afterwards, a number of programs I want you all to listen to. It's 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.